The knock came just after midnight, sharp and frantic, cutting through the quiet like a scream swallowed by walls. It pulled me from sleep with my heart already racing, as if some part of me knew this sound did not belong to an ordinary night. I lay still at first, listening. The house creaked softly, settling into the cold. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees. Then the knock came again, louder this time. 3 hard strikes, uneven, desperate. Not the knock of someone who expects to be welcomed, but of someone who fears what will happen if the door stays closed. I swung my legs over the bed and stood, the floor icy beneath my feet. The clock on the wall glowed faintly, its numbers blurring as my eyes adjusted. Midnight had already passed. No one knocks at this hour without a reason, and rarely a good one. I moved down the hallway, each step cautious. As I reached the front door, the knocking returned, faster now, almost panicked. My hand hovered over the handle. 1,000 thoughts crowded my mind. A prank, someone drunk, someone dangerous, or someone in trouble. I turned the porch light on and peered through the peephole. A little girl stood there. She couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 years old. Her hair hung in tangled strands around her face, damp with sweat or tears. She wore a thin nightgown, far too light for the cold, and her bare feet were red and trembling on the concrete. Her arms were wrapped around herself, as if trying to hold her body together. Her eyes met the door, wide and shining, filled with something far heavier than fear. She knocked again, softer now. "Please," she whispered, "please open the door." I opened it without thinking. The cold rushed in with her, along with the sharp scent of rain and dirt. Up close, I could see bruises on her arms, faint but unmistakable. Her lips were trembling, and her teeth chattered as she spoke. "He's coming," she said. I didn't know where else to go. I knelt in front of her, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. "Who's coming?" I asked gently. She shook her head, violently, as if the word itself terrified her. "I'm not supposed to say. If I say it, he finds me." I wrapped a blanket around her shoulders and guided her inside, closing and locking the door behind us. The sound of the lock clicking into place echoed too loudly in the quiet house. "You're safe," I told her, though I wasn't sure I believed it myself. She clutched the blanket like a lifeline. "He doesn't knock," she said. "He just takes." A chill ran through me that had nothing to do with the cold. I brought her to the couch and handed her a mug of warm milk, my hands shaking as much as hers. She sipped it carefully, eyes darting toward the windows, the door, every shadow. "What's your name?" I asked. She hesitated. "Lily," she said finally, though the way she said it made me wonder if it was true. "Lily, where do you live?" She pointed vaguely behind her, toward the darkness beyond the walls. The house with no lights. That answered nothing and somehow everything. I reached for my phone, intending to call the police, but the moment Lily saw it, she panicked. She slid off the couch and backed away, shaking her head furiously. "No," she whispered. "He listens. He always listens." My finger hovered over the screen. Logic told me to call anyway. Instinct told me to listen to the terror in her voice. Before I could decide, the lights flickered. Once, twice, then the knocking started again. Not at the front door. At the back of the house. Slow, heavy, deliberate. Lily screamed and buried her face into my side. "That's him," she sobbed. "He found me." Every instinct in my body screamed to run, to hide, to do something, anything. I pulled Lily close and whispered for her to be quiet. The knocking moved, traveling along the walls, like someone testing the house, learning it. A voice followed, low and calm, far too calm. "Lily," it called, "you're cold. Come home." The voice was wrong. Not angry, not loud. It carried a smile you could hear, the kind that promised consequences. I backed away, pulling Lily toward the hallway. My mind raced. There was no time, no plan, just fear and a child clinging to me as if I were the only solid thing left in the world. The knocking stopped. Silence flooded the house, thick and suffocating. Then the handle on the back door began to turn. I grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a heavy flashlight, and stood between Lily and the door. My heart hammered so hard I thought it might give me away. The handle rattled, Once, twice. Then a soft laugh drifted through the door. "You can't keep her," the voice said. "She always comes back." The sound of footsteps retreated, slow and unhurried, fading into the night. Minutes passed. Maybe hours. I didn't move until the sky outside began to lighten, the darkness retreating with reluctant fingers. When morning finally came, I called the police. They searched the area, they asked questions, they took notes, but they found no footprints. No house with no lights. No reports of a missing child. When they asked Lily her last name, she looked at me with empty eyes. "I don't have one," she said. "He doesn't like names." They left with uneasy glances, promising to follow up. Social services came. They spoke softly. They smiled too much. Lily never let go of my hand. That night, as I tucked her into the guest bed, she looked up at me, her voice barely more than a breath. "He'll come again," she said. "But not tonight. He likes to wait." I sat beside her long after she fell asleep, watching the shadows stretch across the walls as the house settled into darkness once more. Just after midnight, the porch light flickered on by itself. And somewhere outside, beyond the door, something waited patiently, already counting the hours until the next knock.